My not a formal dress to Vistara because he could not go to his room and change, and he's just come straight to the function. So thank you for being at the airport for so long and insist. Though I had given him an option of going back home, that it's up to you. It's been a while. I said no, I will come. If it takes off on 2 p.m., I will be there. And thank you so much. There's lots of startups here, and I see a lot of synergy and absolute similarities in your journey as a film star. So I'm going to start off your journey as a startup, as someone who knew, got a break with Balwan, struggle, until you get the first investor, which is a mentor or the first director or producer. What are those challenges? How should we start to deal with it? How did you deal with it? All by yourselves, not from Bombay, someone an outsider coming in and trying to make a mark in the Hindi film industry.
First of all, yeah, that's a great question also. My journey has been a crazy journey because I knew nothing about films. South Indian boy, spoke the language Hindi, but my Hindi was very Bombaya as they called it, because we never spoke Hindi at home, we spoke Tulu at home. And wasn't very good at my Hindi, never dreamt of becoming an actor, but I was an avid martial artist, and I was good at what I did. I was very good as a martial artist, probably one of the few contact fighters in India who also fought contact. Trained in the traditional form of martial arts called the Ojuri style, which is the Japanese style. Seeing me train the Mumbai police, in the Tibetan border police and the Maharashtra police, a producer offered me a film, and I said, "One life to live." I went to Dad, and he says, "You know what? One life to live. Give it a shot. If you make it, well and good." Because otherwise, I had passed out from the hospitality industry, hotel administration, and food technology, and I was a catering student. I got my first break thanks to that, and my first film began. It was in Balwan. Balwan was my first released film. The first film I got, which is very important for anybody who's, any one of you who started your journey, especially, belief in yourself is what that's all it takes, and a strong mindset. I started my journey with a film called Arzu, and barely had I done my first photo session, and I got this film. Wasn't a trained actor. Went into shoot probably 2 weeks after I got my first film. Went to Uti to shoot with stalwarts like Shatrughan Sinha and Raj Babbar, extremely versatile actors, nervous as hell. But anyways, went through the film. And after completing the film, and after coming back and believing that it's going to release on XY date, there was a problem between the producer and director, and after 99% of the film being complete, they shelved the film.
Wow. So basically an investor pulled off after writing a term sheet.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. And the so-called product was ready. Wow. That was me. That was my training ground. Initially very upset, but then I said, you know what, that's my training ground, but what do I do after this? Fortunately, the word had got out that this boy is damn good in his action, and he needs to be given an opportunity. And that's what Balwan. Which means if your product is good, and you know for a fact that this is what the eventual valuation of your company is going to be thanks to your product and nothing else. Not because of anything else, not because of the marketing, not because of anything else. If the product is good, it works. And for me, it worked, and Balwan released, and I am where I am today.
And then the first few years were a struggle until your first hit. When was it that you had arrived or you had succeeded and you were known as Suniel Shetty?
I'm still struggling and still trying to stay afloat. Balwan was a success, but they said I was awkward and my language wasn't good, and I need to go back to the restaurant and get back to Dad's business, and that hurt a hell of a lot.
So I want to share your challenges and your struggles, because see, all these startups, a few will succeed, a few will reach what everyone else has reached, and these struggles that you went through in your movies, and not only just initially, but after success also, you went through tough times, and these startups are going through that journey. in their own life, and being, despite being co-founders, despite being a team, and you were solo. What are the important things that you would, from your experience and your struggles and challenges across your first 20 years of your life as a film star, where do you see that? And what do you want to convey to them?
Product, team. Nobody on your muster with fluff just because they're going to add to the valuation of your product. I don't think we should go in for that. You've got to have people who know what they do. When it comes to film, it's the director who's important. As important is the writer of the film. As important is the producer of the film. So if your funder is aware what the end goal would be and would help you in that journey, it's the producer who helps you not only funding you for the film, but also helps you eventually marketing it and releasing the film. A good producer is someone who also knows, is a good distributor, in the sense a good individual at releasing a film, which is very, very
So
important.
the importance of the entire chain of the team, from operations to sales to marketing to distribution to experience of your customers, that's what you're trying to have.
Absolutely, the entire journey, and that's why we've got to make sure that we have people in our team who are aware of this, who have the experience, who may not have the profile, but have the experience to do that, and that's the only way it helps. So whether it's sport, or whether it's movies, or whether it's any other business, I mean, people ask me, you've been pretty successful at what you've done in the business side of it. It's only because I have a great team. I have people who know, they know their craft and are well versed with it.
So, I'm a big bully when it comes to startups pitching to me. I'm really harsh on them because I feel that they're wasting their time and energy. Sometimes this kind of treatment works. Sometimes they get depressed, sometimes they get stressed, and they think that I'm trying to judge them because of whatever they're doing, and I'm passing a verdict that they will succeed or not succeed. And you've seen in your case, or in the cases now with cricketers and film stars, all being judged for their, and so these startups face challenges like investors who don't like them, and they sometimes end up saying things that might work, that might happen or not happen. It's important to partition that judgmental work that someone has, or take it with a pinch of salt, or to learn from it and improve better. What is your take on all of that is happening in the ecosystem today?
I think you should take it with a bucket of salt, not just a pinch of salt, because I did business with Dad, and Dad was tough on me. He wanted to show me the real world because he was someone who came at the age of 9 and did his business and knew what it meant. Cash flow is something that you have to believe in, and if someone like you, because I've seen you on the show, and I feel, you're that father figure who's telling that son that I want you to succeed, come what may. Even though you have to see tough times, and one has to see tough times. Today it's all about valuation. Nobody knows. They're looking at the destination, but what about the journey? You've got to look at the journey at every step. And that's when tough masters need to come in. I mean, even with my show, even with the show that we do, what I've seen is great ideas, great funding, funders ready to fund, funders sometimes not having the time to mentor them through that journey, great ideas, but no management. So then what do? You've got to take it step by step, have the right people with you. So I think the tougher you are, the better it is, and that's why when the word nepotism comes in, it hurts. Because your fathers are probably, or your family is probably tougher on you than any outsider would be.
Absolutely, but the world thinks it otherwise, and that's where the challenge is. Now going to your new journey, while obviously, and the other thing back in '92 when you started, and Ty, by the way, was started in 1992, so you were your career is as old as Ty's journey. There was no television, rather only Doordarshan. There was no OTT, there was no social media, and back then the early stage startups did not have all that. Now there's funding, there's platforms, there are events, there's organizations, and things have changed. And you do realize the potential of marketing through social media, through branding, through brand building, especially D2C. Because many of these kids are trying to go to the market directly because going offline is absolutely impossible. So what is the best thing to create a brand, to create a marketing product that sells, that catches the eye? Is it learning what the consumer want, what your niche market, what your market is, or is it about creativity in creating the medium that you're creating because you're from the media? What works in a D2C market according to you, and what challenges or what things that these people should be careful about coming from the media?
See, the product that you have, there has to be a problem that you are solving, because that's the only opportunity that you have. Every time there's a problem, there's an opportunity. So even in the downturn, there were so many opportunities, and that's why so many entrepreneurs. But at the same time, I always believe that we should not be constantly talking about our product. It's also about the content around it. So if there is content that can be created that is interesting enough for the end user to come back to you, to gain from there, because every end user looks at the takeaway that there is. मुझे इसमें फ़ायदा क्या है? एक बार मैं एक पैर जूते मैंने खरीद लिए और ये मैंने खरीद लिए, क्या आप उन्हें बता रहे हैं कि how do you maintain those pair of shoes? How can that last forever? So unless and until the content is not interesting enough for somebody to consume, because at times it's very, very, through marketing, you manage to get hold of your customer. But how do you keep him engaged with you?
Quality keeps him absolutely.
And content around it. It's not necessarily that I go to a site to buy something because I want to buy something. But sometimes when the content is interesting, and I like to binge watch and learn, how to maintain this, how to keep this, how to do something that I'm not very sure about. I think you do manage that in the world of social media. Probably easier to spread the word as compared to earlier. Far tougher.
Absolutely. And so now communication through media, and you're good at it, and we've had many discussions around many products. How to convey a message in the shortest span of time? The art of storytelling. How important is that to have that professionally done, or is that okay to do it in-house because you understand your baby or you're in love with your baby? Is it okay to have content be done outside, you think, from professionals? Or?
Absolutely. If you can afford it, the content needs to be done by professionals, because the look and feel always matters. If you don't have the right kind of edit, you don't have the right kind of music. It's like films today with the great edit, great background and DI, the entire film that you shot looks different. As a matter of fact, I believe that a film is produced and made on the editing table. So everything matters. So having professionals in your very own team who know how to capture your product, the essence of your product, does help a hell of a lot.
Okay. The new Suniel Shetty, the investor, the startup patron, if I may. What brought you into interest, and not only you, many others, from Virats of the world, and everyone else is now investing or giving their time, money, and face to products and services against equity. This model of marriage between the film industry, the sports industry, and the startup ecosystem. Your thoughts on the future, and then of course everyone wants to know, how does Suniel Shetty get on my board, or how does he invest, or how does he become my ambassador? So first, the industry synergy, where do you see that?
They say funding winter. So all of us have to be aware of the fact that cash is king, and cash flow is what valuation is. Valuation is about repeat customers. For me, it's not a valuation about investors. So I think if you have the MSME mindset of being cautious at every step, it makes a hell of a lot of difference. And even if you're bootstrapped, I think bootstrap companies are companies that are really, really making their way through, because you're responsible for that money, and when it's going out of your own pocket, you care for it. One thing that I've always been very, very aware of is that the kids of today believe that raising money is very, very easy. Probably, yes, it is, but making money is very, very difficult. So I think if we take the difficult part of believing that we can make money by really putting in our efforts into it, that's the best way out. And if people like Suniel Shetty or other celebrities are, especially me, if I'm investing in startups, and I believe in them. It's purely because the world has changed. You have so many innovative minds out there. You try to do. I've failed a hell of a lot of times. I've always invested in my 20 and 30 years. Every time I invested and tried to build my own team and tried to do everything myself, it hasn't worked for me. Not necessarily. But when you have great minds and when you can mentor and you can partner these great minds and help them in that journey, especially for me, marketing. I get into things where I can contribute, not only financially, but as an individual, as a face, belief, because a customer, it's all about belief. A customer will walk into you and buy you only if they believe that you're a product that's worth it. So working with these young, great minds is an absolute opportunity for us to expand our horizon when it comes to business and everything else that we're doing. Otherwise, for an actor, it was always real estate.
Always realistic.
Safe, because it was the safest. It always grew in this country.
But now this thing is for sure going to stay, whether it's as an influencer marketing for the company or a brand ambassador or as an investor advisor on the company.
Absolutely. I mean, brand ambassador, you're clear, you get this kind of money on your out. You're not a part of that journey, but when you see something that is interesting, I don't mind, flipping that for equity and saying, you know what, loss or gain, let's go and get into this together. And there are some very, very bright minds, and we've seen that in Horse's Stable. And that's why that platform, that even if you cannot be a part of that, that company, if you can help them grow and probably give them that, hold hands and take them ahead, that would be fantastic.
So on your behalf, I'd like to explain the process that we went through to bring you on board a company that I had invested in. So we had to, when we were looking at how to sell the product that this company that we are selling, and we saw we have to find the right artist first, whether it's a film actor or actress or cricketer, that match with your product or service has to be there because he or she has to represent your product. And then everyone has a market value. And then you are certain that this is the market value, this is your value as a company, and this is the kind of cash flow you have. Is there plausible marriage of equals? And that's what we did when we did that. And he was the right person because the product was strong, sturdy, reliable. All the qualities that he has, that product has. And so we went to him and we did that. And once then, it's just a matter of barter and numbers and negotiations and writing. But a good actor or a good sports person would not become a brand ambassador against equity if he or she does not see value in what he or she is and the product does not have good quality or value. Just don't go there because you have a product. They have to see the synergy as much as you have to see the synergy. It's almost like making an investment. It's not an easy thing that mujhe equity mil rahi hai, milega to milega, nahi milega. That's not the case. He went deep into the product. He asked us 50 different questions and then he said, fine. Now we talk numbers and this is my value, this is your value, let's marry. And that's how it worked. So is that the right thing to do?
Absolutely. And even if you remember when we were talking about the product, I wanted to know what the back end was. And that was something that I wanted to showcase. And that's what I said. What we need to do is showcase the back end. Let's shoot there. So people know that this is not just a product, but it's a product that takes a hell of a lot in the making. So you also show people the infrastructure, and when people have seen your infrastructure, they start believing in you and the product. That it's not just something that you've taken, you branded, and you've gone. It's not a white label product, but a product that goes through the entire process of making.
So everyone needs to understand that, and I can tell you, every film production house or every actor or every sportsman has a team that's only looking at startups. So absolutely an easier thing to do than what it was 5 years ago. But you have to go through the process and the grind and negotiate with the right kind of person, right kind of brand, and the right kind of value. And that's something.
And actors are open. They're open to it. They know that unicorns have been created, and at the same time get involved with kids who we learn from. I'm learning every day and so much about every business that I've been a part of, and thereby growing as an individual also. And that process never stops. It's helping me in the business, understanding the business of cinema so much more. Why I believe we are in the position, Bollywood is in the position it is, where probably there's no audience right now. Which again talks about quality, product, end user, and understanding everything. We did it because we wanted to do a film, we believed it would work, not understanding data, not understanding anything else or the requirement of the end user.
And other than the product, service, whatever the team is doing, they also see who's the investor. So make sure that you get the right person who's going to be paying you for all the products that you will create out of this. It's very important to have the right people in your team. Last bit of advice, last bit of suggestions to these youngsters out there. What should they be doing? What should they be looking forward to?
I think mentally, you've got to be really, really strong. And you've got to understand that there is always a second chance. But whatever you get into, make sure that it's a very small, robust team. Be bootstrapped always. And let's get rid of this so-called cash burn that happens. And and work towards your goal, and it will happen. And trust me, even marketing is always the biggest problem. Trust me, there are a lot of athletes, a lot of people out there who are willing to be a part of this journey and readily willing to be a part of this journey. All you need to do is approach them, and things will fall into place.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure chatting with you. And on behalf of TAI, I'm very grateful for you have to make this entire day for these 30-40 minutes that you've shared with us. Thank you so much.
I guess my patience has also helped, because there was something that I promised Mahavir. I said I would be there, and I needed to be here. Thank you for having me, and sorry about being late.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shetty, and thank you so much.